Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Tree Raccoon Studios. We will be going over New Orleans today, which is near the Gulf of Mexico. So the United States this is the United States, roughly. Then, like, here would be Florida, here would be Texas, New Orleans is right there. So it's just right above the Gulf of Mexico. And believe it or not, New Orleans is actually below sea level because they built a wall around it, a sea wall around it. And every so often, New Orleans will sink lower because it's basically built on a swamp. So it's by the Gulf of Mexico and it's below the Gulf of Mexico. Once again, we'll go over 3 sentences that we went over in the club, and we'll also have about 6 vocab words that people are having a little bit of a hard time with. We'll go over that. We'll break apart each sentence and also each vocab word, slow it down and make sure we understand it. All right, here's our first vocab word. The first sentence. The French Quarter is one of the oldest places in the U.S. The French Quarter is one of the oldest places in the U.S. Here's the next sentence. There are 10 of the largest plantations in New Orleans. There are 10 of the largest plantations in New Orleans. Here's the third sentence. Vietnam sent Red Cross teams and $100,000 to assist after Hurricane Katrina. Vietnam sent Red Cross teams and $100,000 to assist after Hurricane Katrina. Here's your first vocab word. Oldest. 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 Here's the second word. Largest. 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 Here's the third. Plantations. 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 Here's the fourth word. Orleans. Okay, pause. This one's hard for me. There's New Orleans, New Orleans. I think New Orleans is probably the most correct, but I pronounce it New Orleans. And that might be just a regional thing. So you'll hear New Orleans, New Orleans, and other various versions of pronouncing this. So if you hear it said a couple different ways, that's normal. It's just kind of what happened to a French city, or Orleans, and just got a new slapped on the front of it, and that's where New Orleans comes from. So you're going to hear a couple of different versions of this. I think New Orleans is probably the most accurate, but I always say New Orleans. So that one's a little bit tricky. I would just go online and look up the official pronunciation of this one and then go with that. But I pronounce it one way, other people pronounce it other ways. So take it with a grain of salt. The next one is assist. 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 And the last one is hurricane. 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 All right, that's it for the vocab words. Hurricane Katrina was kind of a important event for me, even though I'm all the way in the West Coast in Oregon. I remember watching the news in 2005 when it was going on, and it was really, really a mind changer for me. Just the thought of that, of the level of devastation New Orleans had to go through. In 2006, when I was a teenager, I went to Biloxi, Mississippi, and almost went to New Orleans, but it was, wasn't quite on our itinerary, but it was really close. And that whole area just basically got wiped out flat. And our job was to try to help rebuild houses, and a lot of volunteer groups were down there doing it. So that area kind of has a special place in my heart as far as some place that I've gone to and tried to help, and a lot of other people have gone and tried to help as well. The people who live there have adapted. They've improved the seawall. They even built houses that are on stilts, so that's above the waves if the waves come in. So the area slowly but surely recovered and has been able to withstand hurricanes a lot better since then. But at the time, it was pretty scary. It was pretty new levels of of devastation, and it required a whole new way of looking at it, looking at hurricanes and how they affect people. Well, thank you very much for joining us, and I appreciate you tuning in. Please feel free to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Bye.